day a little easier for you, because it's just some definitions. All right, so everyone have this in front of you? Yes. And I will have a more updated schedule for you tomorrow. We're going to definitely have a quiz at some point next week. All right, I'm just deciding what sections, all right? All right, let's get started. So what we're going into now is something called polynomial functions. And I kind of shorten it sometimes, just say poly. I'm lazy, whatever. In polynomials, we're going to be breaking polynomials down with a bunch of vocab, and then we'll actually see what the homework will look like. We have just been working with a very specific type of polynomial called a quadratic. This whole last test was x to the second power, okay? There's all other types too, and that's what we're going to talk about, all of them, right? So write these definitions down. This was going to be really good for you to go back and reference. A polynomial is a function with one or more terms, okay? And I'm going to explain, terms is one of your vocab words, so if you're not clear on that, that's coming. And there are some rules that have to do with polynomials. There can be no fraction exponents, okay? No variables. What's a variable? A letter, good chain, under a radical. What's a radical? Square root, cube root, whatever. And I don't know if I like that definition. No negative exponents. And I'm going to show you an example of each of these. And one more. No variables in the denominator. Okay? So that first one, no fraction exponents. So x to the 1/2, not a polynomial. If it's a fraction exponent, that's bad. Just an exponent is fine. X squared, totally fine. But if it's a fraction, it's bad, okay? No variables under a radical, like that, not a polynomial. No negative exponents. Exponents, again, are fine, but if it's negative, it's bad. And if we have a fraction, we should not have a variable in the denominator. No variables in the denominator. Sorry, I kind of got lazy with the rest of the word. Denominator. So I gave you examples of all 4 of those up there. And of course I used x, we could say any variable. So one thing you're going to be expected to be able to do is be given something and say yes or no, is it a polynomial? Just by knowing those rules, okay? Degree. This is such a common word we use. I've already used this term here and there, but it is the greatest. So that means like biggest, okay? So you want to write that too. Exponent of all terms. So what has the degree been of a quadratic that we've worked on for the last couple weeks? What was the degree? What was the biggest exponent you would see on any of the terms? 2. So quadratics have a degree 2. Linear or lines have a degree 1. Because they're x to the first power, mx plus b, x to the first. So linears have a degree of 1 line. Quadratics have a degree of 2, and it goes up from there. There's degree 3, 4, 5, and so on, okay? And we're going to see examples of these. So another thing you'll have to do is be able to say, what's the degree of that polynomial? You look at all the terms, you find the biggest number. That's the degree. That's simple. Okay? Terms are numbers and or letters separated. I always spell separated wrong. Is it S-E-P-A or S-E-P-E? Is that right? Well, it's either an E or an A. Just, okay, it's an A. Thank you. Separated by a plus or minus. I don't know why I wrote the plus symbol and then wrote out the word minus. Who knows? Who knows why my brain does that stuff? And I'll show you examples of all of this in a second, okay? This is just going to be good for you to go reference back to if you get lost. So one of the things you'll have to do is say how many terms are in this polynomial. There's 2 terms, there's 3 terms, there's 1 term, there's 10 terms, okay? And I'll show you examples. Leading coefficient, more with my laziness, I start just using LC, leading coefficient. Leading, it's like the line leader. Remember in elementary school, there was a line leader, and did you guys do the caboose thing? Like the line leader and the person at the back. The leader, the first number, okay, and it's a number that stands in front of a letter. It's always a number, okay? So it's the number, it's got to be a number, not a letter, the number in front of the term containing the degree. So whatever variable has the biggest power, the number that's standing in front of it could be a 1, it could be a -5, whatever it is, that's called the LC, the leading coefficient. And the last one, we know this one already, I believe. Standard form. And I get lazy here too. Standard form, not San Francisco. It's all the like terms combined. So combine like terms, exponents in descending, I don't know about that spelling either, order. So descending is, thank you, greatest to least. So descending, biggest number down to the smallest number. So you'll have to put polynomials in standard form according to that rule, okay? So this is great notes. Don't lose it. If you turn the paper over, you're going to see what we're going to do with these notes. Let's make sure everybody is, what part? All right. So, this is exactly what your homework's going to be like. So this is, trust me guys, what you're learning here is not difficult at all. So take the time to make sure you understand it. When you do the homework, check your answers. If you're not getting the right answer, say, come help me, and I'll come running to you, okay? So this is exactly what the homework is going to be. Put in standard form, and then we're going to state all those pieces. The leading coefficient, degree, just turn the paper over, it's on the back of your paper. Leading coefficient, degree, number of terms, okay? And then you're going to say yes or no, is it a polynomial? All right, so let's go through this. So first step would be to put it in standard form. That's the best thing to start with, okay? That's why I put it as number 1. So look at all of the powers. We want the biggest power to go first. So that's going to be the 2x to the 4th, right? That would go first. Again, I'm looking at the exponents, not the numbers in front. So 2x to the 4th would go first. Then what would go next? Minus x to the 3rd. Remember, if a sign is in front of something, it stays with it. So that x to the 3rd is negative, okay? I think you guys would agree that negative 4x squared would come next. Minus 5x, and then plus 6. That is standard form, okay? Now, let's go through all the different questions. And you can use my abbreviations if you want to. What would the leading coefficient be? 2. It's the number, let me read it back to you. The number in front of the term containing the degree. This is the term that contains our degree, which is kind of answering the next question. The leading coefficient is 2. My degree would be 4. And number of terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this a polynomial? Yes or no? Did it break any of the rules that we put on that first side? Nope. So yes, it is a polynomial. Okay? So you're going to answer this is exactly what you'll do in your homework. Okay, let's do another one. First step is to put it in standard form. So we just have to switch their places, right? 3 is bigger than none. There's no exponent there. So 7x to the third minus 2. That's standard form, okay? Leading coefficient, what would that be? 7. See why you have to have it in standard form first? You don't want to say negative 2. All right, what is our degree? 3. Right. Number of terms? 2. 1, 2. Numbers and or letters separated by minuses or pluses, okay? And then is this a polynomial? Yes. It didn't break any of our rules. And I didn't put one on here like this. Let me just add something here just to show you. What if I gave you that? There are 2 terms that you could combine, okay? So that would be 7x to the third, right? And then negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So that's standard form. So remember, standard form is exponents in descending order, and if there's any like terms, you have to put them together, okay? So that could happen. And notice I'm not crossing an equal sign. I'm just combining what's negative 2 minus 5 right in my calculator, if I do that, okay? All right, last one. Let's put our exponents in descending order. Well, guess what? It's already in standard form, really. This one is causing a problem, right? Doesn't it just stand out that it doesn't fit? Like, where would it go in here? I think maybe we already have, or we will talk about that this is really an x to the negative 1 power, but this is telling me that this is not a polynomial. But let's just go ahead and answer the other questions. The leading coefficient would be 11. This is a degree 3, and the number of terms is 4. But those are all kind of like, it doesn't really matter though, because it's not a polynomial because of an x in our denominator, okay? But go ahead and answer those questions just for practice, right? But we would say that this is not a polynomial because it broke one of those 4 rules. Okay, that's what you're looking for, okay? Good? Not bad. This is a short homework assignment, guys. 7 through 10 and 12. Just doing that, okay? If you didn't rip out the pages, these are them again. Might as well rip out the ones that we need. This is all for this week and next week, okay? Started out pretty slow with you. Tomorrow we do something a little bit harder, but not much. Number 8, if you're looking at your homework, you have to FOIL it first. Guys, you cannot you can't answer the questions unless it's not in front. You can't have it. That's considered factored form. Factors have parentheses. So you have to FOIL it out first, and then you can. What did you say? Well, we are going to have a quiz next week, and this will be on the quiz for sure. No, there's going to be more than this. Paris, you get this. You're good. Let's stay focused tomorrow, and you can come back from a bad test day. You win a 27 minutes, okay? You can come back. Just not failing more than one. Yeah. All right. Robbie and Devin,